Hello guys. In this video you look beautiful rare photos. Hello guys. In this video you look beautiful rare photos.
Bonus photo for you, a beautiful retro woman. Donna Edmondson is a charming American model, 1987. Actress Samantha Fox, 1988. August 1943. Middle River, Maryland. A Farm Security Administration housing project for Glen L. Martin aircraft workers. A worker's family in their trailer home. New York. August 1952. Jackie Gleason rehearsing television show. Includes Gleason in Steam Cabinet. Circa 1920. Marion Morgan dancers. Washington, D.C. Woodrow Wilson House, S Street. Residence of the former president and his wife starting in 1921, and where he died in 1924. New Zealand circa 1905. Men in front of Violet Camp tent, Christchurch. July 15, 1940. Collier's house at Pedak, New York City. Exterior from below. Dan Cooper, decorator, Edward Durrell Stone, architect. Boston circa 1906. Maverick Square and tunnel entrance. Spring 1943. Keysville, Virginia. Randolph Henry High School. Social Studies class. Students study in groups of 6 or 8, each group picking own subject. June 1943. Keysville, Virginia. Randolph Henry High School. First aid group and school dispensary. Dulles International Airport, Chantilly, Virginia, 1958 to 63. Eero Saarinen architect. Mobile lounges. July 1955. Vespa Motor, scooters in Rome, Italy. Dulles International Airport, Chantilly, Virginia, 1958 to 63. Eero Saarinen architect. Mobile lounges. Circa 1905. Rutland, Vermont Center Street. Our title comes from the eatery on the right. (1920s) Men's underwear. Pondering the age-old question: boxers or boxers? Washington, D.C., circa 1912. S.M. Fraser Trucks. Samuel Fraser, dealer in coke and lime, and his fleet of Wilcox Trucks at his business on Monroe Street in Anacostia. Circa 1910s. Travel Views of Europe is as specific as the series gets. August 1952. Los Angeles. Marilyn Monroe attending a publicity event for the film Don't Bother to Knock. Dulles International Airport, Chantilly, Virginia, 1958 to 63. Eero Saarinen architect. Mobile lounges. May 1915. 9-year-old Nosy and his 7-year-old brother Red. Tough specimen of Los Angeles newsbus. October 1953, on US 61 south of Hastings, Minnesota. The new Henry J with Wisconsin plates is flailing along on all 4 cylinders, but getting great gas mileage. We'll pass as soon as we get around this curve. Who remembers bug deflectors? December 30th, 1929. Dr. Casey Dickinson, Chief of the Heat and Power Division of the Bureau of Standards, and the control room of the new Aircraft Engine Testing Laboratory at Arlington, Virginia. New Zealand circa 1910. Studio portrait of bicycle road racing team with 4 young men in riding attire with 2 small cups. Manager with polka dot tie and coach alongside, Christchurch. January 1943. Freight operations on the Indiana Harbor Belt Railroad between Chicago and Hammond, Indiana. Belt line cabooses never go long distances or at very high speeds and are therefore constructed differently from line cabooses. October 18, 1926. Goldbeck, Walter, Mrs. with dog. 1 West 66th Street, New York City. Circa 1908. City Hall, Columbus, Ohio. Populated by a cast of ectoplasmic pedestrians. Detroit, Michigan. Girls playing cards and drinking Coca-Cola. Columbus, Ohio, 1904. Chittenden Hotel. Opened 1895, raised 1973. The final installment of our Columbus Day trilogy. July 1943. Greenville, South Carolina. Air Service Command. Men of the Quartermaster Truck Company of the 25th Service Group having a card game in one of the barracks. March 5, 1941. Raleigh Hotel, Collins Avenue, Miami Beach, Florida. Snack Bar. L. Murray Dixon Architect. February 1952. Entertainer Gene Kelly with others having coffee. The Star and His Satellites. Circa 1936. Muschenheim, William, Mrs. Portrait photograph. Wife of the modernist architect. Somewhere in Virginia circa 1925. Lee Highway Association. One of the many organizations promoting intercity and regional highway construction in the 1920s. (1890s) New Zealand. Grocery shop interior, with staff, location unidentified. Circa 1958. Dulles International Airport, Chantilly, Virginia. Model and construction. Eero Saarinen architect. Judy Landers, American film and television actress, 1979. Detroit circa 1910. Griswold Street south from Michigan Avenue. And a view of the recently completed Ford building. New York circa 1922. Tiffany. The Metropolitan Opera lyric soprano Marie Tiffany. April 1938. Magazine advertisements. Washington, D.C. Vesuvius, Virginia, 1956. Sometimes the electricity fails. Gelatin silver print by Ogle Winston Link, pioneer of the photographic genre that might be called rail noir. Circa 1919. Red Cross ambulances at Washington Monument. March 1943. Albuquerque, New Mexico. lifting an engine to be carried to another part of the Atchison, Topeka Santa Fe shops for wheeling. New York circa 1963. Trans World Airlines Terminal, Idlewild Airport. Eero Saarinen architect. May 1943. Bethlehem Fairfield Shipyards, Baltimore. Liberty Ship Cargo Transports. Circa 1915. Four unidentified men in front of a tent, showing a washing basin, pots and teapot with cups of tea, camping ground unidentified, possibly Christchurch district. Summer 1941. Detroit, Michigan. Girls playing cards and drinking Coca-Cola. Pittsburgh circa 1910. Wood Street and the Farmers Bank. Nash Sedan, 1921. The Pride of Kenosha, parked somewhere in Washington. Bonus photo for you, a beautiful retro woman. American actress Markie Post, 1976. Boy performing a haka on the beach, Northland. Virginia Bell, American actress, 1966. January 1959. In this prequel gathering of the California Picnic Group, we have Ruby Lee and her hubby, back right, their daughter Peggy, deaf. Too young to drink, cozying up to declared hottie Clay, who is not Thomas Cave, as his wife gamely looks on. April 28, 1944. Berry Farm Housing Development, Washington, D.C. Street View 2. June 1943. Arlington, Virginia. Girl in her room playing phonograph at Arlington Farms, a residence for women who work in the government for the duration of the war. May 1943. Pimlico Racetrack near Baltimore, Maryland. Parked cars in spite of gas ration. Pennsylvania circa 1958. This little boy was evidently on the nice list. March 1943. Flagstaff, Arizona. Diesel locomotive entering town along the Atchison, Topeka Santa Fe Railroad between Winslow and Seligman. (1953) A glittery Marilyn Monroe along with Betty Grable, Lauren Bacall and other assorted lovelies in a publicity still for the Technicolor extravaganza. How to Marry a Millionaire. New York circa 1903. The Flatiron Building, topping the list of favorite triangular skyscrapers. New Zealand circa 1905. Group of unidentified young women outdoors, probably Christchurch district. Washington, D.C., circa 1931. Walt Disney with Mickey Mouse drawing. One day he'll be bigger than you, cat. April 1939. San Francisco, California, seen from the first street ramp of the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge. A view over 1930s Manhattan showing the Hellgate Bridge across the East River in the distance, the Waldorf Astoria Towers and 230 Park Avenue, Helmsley Building, foreground, Lincoln Building lower right. New York, 1913. Mrs. Evelyn Nesbit Thaw and Son. New Zealand circa 1905. 8 young men in ragtag clothing with hats, pots, broom, shovel, accordion, pipes, gun and dog. Sumner, Christchurch. October 1949. Cowba entertainer Gene Autry posing with children's clothing and toys which have his name and or image on them. April 1943. Washington, D.C. Little boy riding on a streetcar. (1914) Dogs in costume weighing baby puppy on scale. Detroit, summer 1941. Our third look at a series of photos taken by Arthur Siegel for the Office of War Information. The first few are labeled Girls Playing Cards and Drinking Coca-Cola. South Chicago circa 1905. Steamer William E. Quarry interior of hold. November 1938. Shafter Camp for Migrants, California. Cotton pickers' children who live in a tent in the government camp instead of along the highway or in a ditch. Washington, D.C., 1924. Indian Refining Company Haveline Oil. Washington, D.C., 1924. Haveline Oil Company. The year is 1943, and the place is Washington, D.C. What is this girl doing? Washington, D.C., 1914. Riley Brown, attorney writing. St. John's Church and Graveyard from Street. Maine Eastern Theater of War, Fallen Richmond, April-June 1865. January 1943. Freight operations on the Indiana Harbor Belt Railroad between Chicago and Hammond, Indiana. The engine crew, engineer, and firemen report at the roundhouse office to be assigned their engine and given orders for the day. Circa 1910. Maori woman with a catch of fish on the Northland coast. August 23, 1951. Indian Head Camp, Bushkill, Pennsylvania. Boys on basketball court. Knoxville, Tennessee, circa 1905. Looking north on Gay Street from near Clinch Avenue. June 1943. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Women garage attendants at the Atlantic Refining Company. June 1943. Keysville, Virginia. Randolph Henry High School. Cafeteria. Students don't have much money, so they bring produce from farms for which they receive tickets. Lunches cost about 15 cents. (1911) Christ College First 15 Rugby Team. (1911) Christ's College First 15 Rugby Team. June 1943. Louisville, Kentucky. Virginia Lively used to be a beauty operator. Today she works at a filling station. Jewel Shepard is an American writer, 1977. May 1953. Dancer-actress Gwen Verdon in a hammock wearing a ball gown. June 1943. Keysville, Virginia. Randolph Henry High School. Lavatory facilities. Circa 1908. North Broadway, Saratoga Springs, New York. July 1943. Glen Echo, Maryland. Climbing the ladder to the sliding board at the Glen Echo swimming pool. (1910) Wellington, New Zealand. David Taylor's butcher shop, Wadestown, showing decorated carcasses and horse-drawn delivery cart. David Taylor in doorway. Washington, D.C., circa 1931. 15th Street at Pennsylvania Avenue. June 1943. Turkey Pond, near Concord, New Hampshire. Women workers employed by U.S. Department of Agriculture timber salvage sawmill. Ruth DeRoche and Norma Weber, 18-year-old pit women, relaxing after lunch. Circa 1908. North view of United States Capitol, Washington, D.C. July 1943. Greenville, South Carolina. Air Service Command. Writing a letter home. My brother's friend Jerry returns from a pedal to the metal test drive of my brother's new Mercury. Minneapolis, 1954. Washington, D.C., 1913. Mullany Saloon, 14th ESDSNW. Circa 1901. The Islesworth and Virginia Avenue, Atlantic City. Bonus photo for you, a beautiful retro woman. Actress Becky LeBeau, 1988. Stunning Linda Lusardi, 1978. Charming Natalie Banas, 1989. From the Linda Kodachromes, circa 1950s, somewhere in New England. A place at the table, just for you. Gravy, anyone? New York, December 1913. Christmas tree, Madison Square. December 1942. New York. R.H. Macy Company department store the week before Christmas. Children line up to talk with Santa Claus. December 1953. Continuing the Look magazine series. Night photographs of houses decorated for Christmas. You know what they say about people who live in glass houses, they don't throw Christmas parties. Pennsylvania, circa 1958. This little boy was evidently on the nice list. From around 1953, in a bathroom somewhere in New England, comes this curious Kodachrome that your webmaster found on eBay. From the Linda Kodachromes comes this unlabeled slide of posters for the school Christmas play on December 16th, so get your tickets soon. 1957. June 1951. Actress Lana Turner lunching poolside at the Coral Casino in Santa Barbara, California. October 1943. Washington, D.C. Servicemen and girl at a party. Dickey Christmas Tree, 1918. Spring 1942. Detroit. Fashion show presented by the Chrysler Girls Club of the Chrysler Corporation at Saks Fifth Avenue store. Girl modeling a corselet. November 24, 1924. Washington, D.C. Bonus Bureau Examining Division. The bonus was a benefit granted to World War I veterans by the World War Adjusted Compensation Act of 1924. Circa 1942. U.S. Navy inflatable raft. Just add water. The Knoxville, Tennessee, courthouse circa 1903, with signage advising, "Keep off the grass, no loafing, drink Hickman's coffee," and "Chew ram's horn tobacco." January 1943. Information room at the Union Station, Chicago. No slapdash campsite for these circa 1910 New Zealand outdoorsmen. Unidentified men sitting between two open tents. Washington, D.C., circa 1926. Dog cemetery. Intimations of canine mortality. March 1937. Migrant children from Oklahoma on California highway. Annapolis, Maryland, circa 1892. Class of 92, U.S. Naval Academy. October 1943. Washington, D.C. Demonstration of the correct procedure in applying street makeup. Home management class at Woodrow Wilson High School. December 1st, 1951. Shopping Center, Great Neck, Long Island, New York. Wanamakers. Lathrop Douglas, architect. Coney Island circa 1905. Night in Luna Park. What hath Edison wrought? January 1939. Grocery store in Negro section. Homestead, Florida. December 1942. Part of the copper concentrating plant of the Phelps Dodge Mining Company at Morenci, Arizona. This plant supplies great quantities of the copper so vital in our war effort. June 1956. Aspects of life in Southern California, including cars at drive-in restaurant, drive-in laundromat, drive-up bank, shopping center. June 1956. Aspects of life in Southern California, including cars at drive-in restaurant, drive-in laundromat, drive-up bank, shopping center. June 17, 1922. Washington had club bathing costume contest at Tidal Basin. Lake Erie circa 1900. Unloading ore at Conneaut, Ohio. Brown conveying hoists. June 1942. Washington, D.C. U.S. Office of Defense Transportation System of Port Control and its Traffic Channel Control. February 1957. U.S. Klan's Imperial Wizard Eldon Edwards posed in his official robes at home. May 16, 1938. National Airmail Week essay winners at Washington Airport. New Zealand circa 1935. Milk bar at the Opera House, Manor Street, Wellington. Next door to Plaza Theatre. March 19, 1942, in the birthplace of the transistor. Bell Telephone Laboratories, Murray Hill, New Jersey. Drafting room. Voorhees, Walker, Foley Smith, architect. February 1942. Portrait of a mistreated vacuum cleaner. It's in the repair shop because it inhaled bits of metal, pieces of wire, hairpins, and other harmful objects. The Enchanting Linda Carter, 1979. (1958). Photos show life in Texas. Coverage is broad. Among the many subjects covered are ranching, rodeos, the Texas State Fair. Circa 1926. Mrs. J. Whitcomb, official car, Lee Highway Association, cross-continent trip, at White House. August 1942. Testing small diameter, high-speed twist drills. These women employed by Republic Drill Tool, Chicago, roll the drills down a slight incline to determine regularity of diameter. Summer 1963. Julie Andrews on the set of the film Mary Poppins. Washington, D.C., 1914. Alley clearance slum views. Familiar fixtures from a century ago include the gas lamp, maple-style phone pole and a turnbuckle star. Colorado circa 1900. In the Royal Gorge, Arkansas River, Rio Grande Southern Railway. New Zealand circa 1910. Grouped men outside a tent with a sign reading the Gaiety Camp, showing each man performing domestic duties. Probably Christchurch district. Crockett, California, circa 1915. South view of refinery and entrance to Loring Avenue. May 1942. Southington, Connecticut, where Southington folk buy their magazines. Washington, D.C., 1920. National Radio School. April 30th, 1952. Great Neck Shopping Center, Great Neck, Long Island. Lathrop Douglas, architect. Circa 1901. The Islesworth and Virginia Avenue, Atlantic City. Bonus photo for you, a beautiful retro woman. Tracy Lords, American model, 1988. Here we go. Stunning Corinne Wall, American model and actress, 1975. Charming Maria Whitaker in yellow swimsuit, 1988. Christmas 1957. Having seen the boy toys at Kermie and Janet's house in Baltimore, we now move on to the girl gifts, which include Little Miss Revlon and Betsy McCall dolls, as well as a fun with needlepoint kit. Make your own horse. What else do we recognize here? Christmas 1957 is the label on this slide from the Kermie and Janet Kodachromes, taken at their house in Baltimore. Gifts include a Revell model aircraft carrier and something called the shopping center game. December 1953. Outdoor Christmas decorations. From around 1953 comes this color transparency, possibly shot by Charlotte Brooks for the Look magazine assignment. Christmas toys. December 1921. Christmas tree. Dr. Julio Bianchi, Guatemalan minister in Washington during the Herrera regime. New Zealand circa 1910. Studio portrait, young woman in Christmas tree fancy dress and hat costume, with little presents and decorations hanging off her, Christchurch. Washington, D.C., circa 1910. Harris, Martha. Christmas tree. (1952). Entertainer Gene Kelly executing leap over film cans labeled with titles of his movies. October 1943. Washington, D.C. A mechanical drawing class at Woodrow Wilson High School. Dr. Grace Hopper, Director, Systems Research, Remington Rand, half-length portrait, seated, smoking cigarette. New York, 1902. Scene from Little Italy showing Minnie Maddern Fisk on bed, Frederick de Belleville kneeling, Claus Bogel seated with head bowed, and group of people in doorway. August 4th, 1960. Family and mourners at the Arlington National Cemetery burial of Willard G. Palm, RB-47 reconnaissance airplane pilot shot down by the Russians. October 1943. Washington, D.C. Sally D says talking with some friends near her locker at Woodrow Wilson High School. The Jersey Shore circa 1904. Young's Hotel and Boardwalk, Atlantic City. San Francisco. Corner of Montgomery and Market Streets, Monday morning, after Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. March 1942. Virginia Beach, Virginia. Fort Story Coast Defense. A tough job for soldiers is shoving the breech block of the giant howitzer into place. Circa 1900. Ostrich Farm, Hot Springs, Arkansas. Careful, these birds are dangerous. Circa 1942, in the vicinity of Washington, D.C. Conservation of fuel oil. Washington, D.C., circa 1925. Family group listening to radio. A baseball game, maybe? October 1939. On US 99 as it continues through Oregon, Lane County, Willamette Valley. Circa 1904. Virginia Avenue, Atlantic City, New Jersey. May 1940. Cotton Carnival, Memphis, Tennessee. Waiting for her royal crown. February 1942. Madison, Wisconsin Farm Short Course School at the University of Wisconsin. This class in rural society often practices square dances. Interest in rural culture and customs is stimulated at the school. April 23, 1926. Washington, D.C. Miss Dorothy Tierney with Porcupine. Boston, Massachusetts, circa 1895. Main entrance, Boston Public Library. Read all over. (1966) To the rescue. Many librarians believe computers are the only means to effectively cope with their bulging bookshelves. November 1909. These boys work off and on in Cumberland Glass Works, Bridgeton, New Jersey. Smallest boy is George Cartwright, 401 North Laurel Street. He says been working off and on since 11 years old. May 15, 1951. Johnson & Johnson Research Center, New Brunswick, New Jersey. Organic Laboratory. November 1952. A pep talk from Coach. Hamlet, North Carolina, high school football team in locker room at away game. Circa 1905. St. Mary's Canal Celebration Excursion Steamer Fortune in Whitesell Lock, Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan. The Enchanting Jules Shepherd, 1979. January 27, 1959. Washington, D.C. Women working at the U.S. Capitol switchboard. An average of 50,000 calls are placed through the board daily. December 1, 1951. Shopping Center, Great Neck, Long Island, New York. Wanamakers. July 1942. East Montpelier, Vermont. The Charles Ormsby family and his widowed mother, Mrs. Myrtle Ormsby, at dinner. Summer 1941. Detroit, Michigan. Girls playing cards and drinking Coca-Cola. Washington, D.C., circa 1925. Merchants Bank Building, G Street, NWGG Lowler Company. February 1939. Bankhead Farms, Alabama. A homesteader with some of the baby chicks he is raising. Laconia, New Hampshire, circa 1907. Pleasant and Main Streets. January 1943. New York. Italian-American firemen giving pint of blood to the Red Cross. April 1943. Baltimore, Maryland. Trolley leaving the terminal at night. October 27, 1917. Western Front, Belgium. Ypres area, an observation balloon about to ascend. Washington, D.C., circa 1918. He photographer. Circa 1921 in New York, the British pianist and conductor Ethel Legінська. March 1943. On the Atchison, Topeka, Santa Fe between Chicago and Chillicothe, Illinois. New Zealand circa 1905. Unidentified group having a picnic outside tent in backyard of house. Probably Christchurch district. Spring 1942. Little girl on a farm in Maryland, learning to eat vitamins. Balanced meal on the table of a Farm Security Administration client in Calvert County. Bonus photo for you, a beautiful retro woman. Pamela Green English Glamour Model 1953. Stunning model Maria Whitaker 1989. Charming Gail McKenna in black bikini 1988. (1953). Marilyn Monroe enacting a scene from the motion picture How to Marry a Millionaire. January 17, 1956. Raymond Loews Jaguar car. Number 8. Publicity photo from late 1950 for the Kaiser. Henry J. A small car, named after company chairman Henry J. Kaiser, that was a few years ahead of its time. Spring 1960. Efforts of John F. Kennedy's campaign team, including members of his family, in West Virginia during Kennedy's quest for the 1960 Democratic presidential nomination, includes Brother Bob at a drive-in in Bluefield. November 1942. Babies Hospital, New York. The welfare of this young patient, suffering from burns, is aided by having his bed placed near a window where he can watch the boats pass by. September 10, 1942, somewhere in Australia. American soldier at advanced Allied base with his pet kangaroo. November 1942. Babies Hospital, New York. Care of prematurely born babies is one of the most complicated procedures which must be learned by the student nurse. March 1943. New Orleans oil truck. Note the wings atop the tank. Circa 1943. Civilian defense in the United States. Blackout measures. New Zealand circa 1958. Men's underwear being modeled, photographed by Key Niven Company of Wellington. Fall 1942. War production drive. Anthracite rallies. Jeep headlights form V for victory at the night rally for Pennsylvania anthracite miners in Wilkes-Barre on September 29. Similar rallies were held in other anthracite cities from September 28 through October 1. October 1941. Main store. Fort Hunter, New York. Still on tap. some of that New Spring Mobile Gas. July 1909. Mrs. Bissey and family, Polish. Bottomley Farm, Rock Creek. They all work in the berry fields near Baltimore in summer and have worked at Biloxi, Mississippi, for 2 years. Washington, D.C., circa 1917. Hotel Harrington, 11th and